Good evening, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. My name is Marcia Litterberg, and I am co-chair of the fundraising committee, along with Jo Ellen Bromberg. Tonight, we are welcoming a guest. Janet, this is your son is with you tonight? Everybody?
Say hello to Matthew.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Matthew.
And we also have a new member with us tonight, Mr. Schwartz. Welcome.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome. Before I forget, everybody please just mute or your cell phones, just shut them off for us for a while anyway.
No. For the duration of the service.
Well, yeah, for a while.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
No options. No.
Tonight, the candles will be lit by Marlene Spiegel.
Donna Wiener. Change
What?
of players.
Change of players?
Yeah. Donna Wiener will light the candles.
Oh, Donna Wiener is lighting the candles tonight. Sorry about that. There will be no Torah reading tonight, so I don't have to go through who the gabbai is and who's opening up the curtains. So that's easy for me right now. But we are, as I said, welcoming our guests and our new members. And, well, I do have on Sunday to make an announcement, but I can do that later. Right now, I just like to, where is Donna?
Yes, she's in the closet. It's not her turn yet.
Oh, it's not her turn yet?
No.
Is it your turn now?
Yeah, it will be.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So, everybody welcome, Rabbi Kohler.
Thank you. Thank you for that. You know, the previous microphone that we had a little sign on that said, "Don't touch." And now we just do all this all the time now. Oops. I'm sorry, but you took my script away.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. This is,
Oh, there it is. Here we go. Yes. It is. Okay. Well, we're going to begin, as we like to do, with an opportunity to set the week behind us and turn our faces Shabbatward, if you will. And so I invite you to put your feet on the floor, your back against the chair, and let yourself relax into that posture for a moment, and close your eyes. And as you're closing your eyes, I want you to think about what is in your mind a restful place to be. What environment would that be? Would that be sitting on a beach, listening to the tide come in and out? Would that be restful for you? Or would it be sitting with friends and just enjoying some music? Think about what would be a restful experience for you. And then imagine yourself being in that place and that time, and letting the restfulness of it envelop you. Let the restfulness of the environment become part of you. And as you're breathing comfortably, I want you to think actively now about letting the tension out of your shoulders. Drop your shoulders, feel them, let you relax. And think again about that beach or that place where you can listen to music. One person I know said it would be a bubble bath. And somebody here is nodding her head, which means that we all have our own idea of what is a restful place, a restful experience. And I want you to think about how quiet it will be and how private it will be, because you're going to carry that private sense of restfulness forward as we go in a moment into Shabbat. So I want you to take in a deep breath and hold it and hold on to that restful feeling and breathe out again. And then do it again. Breathe in and hold it and breathe out again and open your eyes. For the last few weeks, we have been beginning the service with singing Hine Ma Tov. And we did a couple of relatively traditional versions of Hine Ma Tov. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking about some of the other versions that I know. Now Marlene, we did the dance melody, right? Hine Ma Tov Umanai. You know that one? Yep. And then we also did, on another occasion, we did Hine Ma Tov Umana. You know that one too? Good. Do you know this one? Hine Ma Tov Umanaim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Umanaim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Oy vey. You didn't know that one? Oh, really? And then there was also Hine Ma Tov Umanayim, Hine Ma Tov Umana. You know that one now? Now you know it, yes. There are a million melodies to Hine Ma Tov. And what we're going to start the service with this evening is one that I've only heard for the last several months, and I think it's currently my favorite, and I hope you will enjoy it. But the trick of this is you have to sing. So let's go now to Hine Ma Tov.
Hine Ma Tov Umanayim. Try that. Hine Ma Tov Umanayim. Listen, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Try that. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Umanayim.
Oops. Well, I don't know. We hit a pause. Who said she could leave the room?
Try that. Hine Ma Tov Umanayim. Listen, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Try that. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. That's the whole thing. Try that. Hine Ma Tov Umanayim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Umanayim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Repeat after me. How good it is. How good it is. How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
This will be together. To be together on this day. To be together. To be together on this day. How good it is. How good it is. How sweet it is. How sweet it is. To be together on this day. Can you go for that with me? To be together on this day. Hine Ma Tov. Hine Ma Tov. Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov. Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good it is. How good it is. How sweet it is. How sweet it is. To be together on this day. How good it is. How good it is. How sweet it is. How sweet it is. To be together on this day.
Hine Ma Tov
Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Okay, one more part. Listen to this. It goes like this. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. You have that in you? Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Listen, Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. You guys.
Shalom Aleichem, Salam
That's the
Aleichem.
whole thing. Try that. Shalom Aleichem. Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem.
Salam Aleichem.
How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is
to be together on this day.
Hinei matov
Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinek matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim. Shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam
Do you like that melody? Yeah. Yes, wonderful. We're going to continue now with the lighting of the Shabbat candles, and indeed, Donna is going to come up and light the candles.
We light a candle, and the aura glows, a luster in darkness. We are lamps, each one. Rays shine outward, the splendor grows, recalling brilliance of a desert sun. Ours is a storm-swept age when faith and courage falter. Hope flickers like a dying ember's beams. Then to light a candle makes every heart an altar, and earthbound creatures soar to capture dreams. Night turns it to dawn. We see each other's face when candles of our spirit light the near and farthest place. Oh, here we go.
Donna?
It has the Barbara Grossman curse on it.
No, Barbara, you're going to have to try this box.
Try that box?
Yeah, just to be different, you know. What happened to our clicker?
Oh, this isn't fun.
Oh yeah, we're having a good time. Oh, that's a microphone.
Yeah.
See if this thing works.
Ooh, look at that.
What?
Old trusty.
Old trusty, you think?
Yeah, excellent.
I'm,
Do you want to do that?
certainly.
Yes. Okay. What can I tell you? All righty. All right, now we're in business. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher
Shanu
kiddushanu
b'mitzvot
v'tzivanu
v'tzivanu
l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Back in the closet I go.
Yes. And we'll just put the stuff over here. Well, we're going to continue now with Kiddush. The text will be on the screen, and I invite you to rise. And if you're at home with a glass of wine, this is a good time to lift it and join us, please, in Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemase v'reishit ki hu yom tehila lemikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. And we're going to continue with some music. This is Shiru Ladonai, which is taken from, I think it's Psalm 96, actually. So this is one you can join in with. Let them warm you up, and please join us. And we're going to continue now with Chatzi Kaddish, which is on the screen. It's also on page 144 if you're following in a prayer book. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah B'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon uvyomechon ציון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו, יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה וימרו. And that completes the introductory section of the service, and we now continue with the formal opening of the service and the call to worship. The Baruch, please rise. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Baruch hu et Adonai hamivorach. Baruch Adonai hamivorach leolam va'ed. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. And we're going to continue with the reading which is on the screen. Please join me. O God, where can I find you? Your glory fills the world. Behold, I find you in the mind free to sail by its own star, in words that spring from the depth of truth, where a scientist toils to unravel your world's secrets, where an artist makes beautiful in your world, where men and women struggle for freedom, among the lonely and the poor, the lowly and the lost, wherever noble deeds are done. I find you in the merry shouts of children at play, in the mother's lullaby as she rocks her baby to sleep, in the sleep that falls on an infant's eyes, in the smile that falls on sleeping lips, and in the child as she grows to embrace a world of wonders, a world of fun and light, of laughter, dreams, radiance, and love. And we're going to continue with Ahavat Olam.
ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה.
Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. We are going to continue with the Shema, and you are welcome to rise or be seated, whichever works for you, because both are done. Both are practices done in Jewish places these days. Let's take a moment to focus. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzehiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem emet. And we're going to continue now with a reading which is on page 237, but it's also on the screen. And so I invite you to read with me. Life without integrity is like loosely hanging threads, easily fraying from the main cloth, while in acts of piety we learn to understand that every instant is like a thread raveling out of eternity to form a delicate tassel We must not cast off the threads, but weave them into the design of an eternal fabric. Each day points to eternity. The fate of all time depends on a single moment. And we're going to continue with Michamocha. Persian melody. And we're going to continue with a familiar prayer. The language that introduces this in English has been in our prayer books for, well, since 1975. The English of this text, which you're going to hear in a moment, and you'll sing with this, you'll recognize it. This has been in our prayer books since 1975. So let's go to Hashkivenu.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu שלומך השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Isn't that beautiful? Mm-hmm. We're going to continue with the reading that is on the screen. Please read with me. For the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, doing what is fitting throughout all generations, to make Shabbat an eternal covenant between me and the children of Israel, a sign through all time and space. For Adonai did the work of heaven and earth in 6 days, and on the seventh day God ceased from work, rested, and breathed a new soul into the world. We thank you for your gift of the Sabbath, your holy day. It reminds us of the work of creation. It is ever new. It nurtures and renews our souls. Help us to understand its true value so that we will not abuse it. Help us to observe it in peace of mind and purity of heart. Help us to live humbly by your commandments, that we may serve you in truth. And we're going to continue with Vishamru. It's very hard.
So it looked like they were lip syncing because their mouth was moving when the song was.
And you know, that does not happen when we proof this.
Yeah.
We have this all occasionally, right? The sound and the video are sometimes a little bit off. Yeah. But it's not that way when I choose it on my computer, and it's not that way when we look at it here.
I was watching them clap, but they were singing this the clap should have come on a certain note, but their hands are moving on a different.
Well, they may just be, you know, challenged. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to leave them behind and move forward, and that is going to be with the Amidah, the central prayer of our service, which begins on page 164 if you are using a prayer book. The text will be on the screen. Please rise for the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Mi'Adorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Konei Hakol, Zocher Chazdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Livnei v'neihem leman shemo be'ahava melech ozer Moshia u'magei Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah Ata gibor leolam Adonai Mechaye hakol ata Rav Lohoshia Morid hatal Mechalkel chaim bechesed Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim Somech noflim v'rofei cholim Matir asurim Umekayem emunato Lishenei afar Michamocha ba'al gevurot Umido melach Melech memit umechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman ata l'hachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hakol Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Debbie Friedman's Oseh Shalom. Beautiful, yeah? Mhm. Well, we've come to that point in the service where we offer prayers for the sick, and before we get to the music, I just want to mention to you something that perhaps is not, I have not made clear enough over the many weeks, and that is that quite a while ago, actually, we had to take a new approach to the list of names that we read, because the list had gotten unwieldy. It was very long. And so we decided that we would only read the names of congregants when we read the list on Shabbat. And I do work to give you an opportunity to offer prayers on behalf of people for whom you personally are praying. But we had to give up the notion of adding everybody's friends and family and so forth to the list. It just became too unwieldy. So as I'm about to read the list in a few moments, I want you to keep in mind that that is only members of the congregation. We are going to begin now with the music for the Mishaberach. This Shabbat, the congregation is offering prayers for the following members: Beverly Adler, Ricky Bauman, Robert Berg, Elaine Bialer, Barry Brown, Andrea Chasen, Freda Cohen, Marianne Fink, Joan Frankel Ford, Batsheva Sarah Gamaran, Nancy Goodstein, Marcia Katz, Verdna Kelly, Joan Kramer, Rochelle Lafer, Marlis Markovitz, Bonnie Meyer, Amy Mogill, Steve Morris, Paula Newberger, Fanny Reese, Roland Rudefors, Bud Rosenberg, Jacqueline Schindler, Mark Schoenholtz, Brenda Shapiro, Roz Shapiro, Simone Shaw, Francis Sheff, Joe Sheff, Norman Toff, Ruth Turchin, Eugene Udowin, Leslie Zwain, Amit Ben Shirley, Ariel Bat Rivka, Ariella Bat Shoshana, Chana Pesa Bat Golda, Chaya Esther Bat Chana, Devorah Bat Ruth, Esther Bedana Bat Shena Malka, Henya Rachel Bat Sarah, Heshleb Ben Devorah, Yosef Shmuel Ben Bertha, Manya Bat Fredel, Masha Bat Esther, Menachem Ben Frima, Mindela Bat Frima, Mordechai Ben Sarah, Moshe Hersh Ben Rivka, Pesach Lev Ben Sarah, Shulamit Bat Zilla, Cyril Reza Bat Esther, Velvel Ben Hindabela, and Yonatan Ben Chassia. And so now I'm going to ask you to take the opportunity to offer prayers for people who are near and dear to you. We will begin by offering prayers on behalf of those amongst our families and friends who suffer from chronic, debilitating illnesses or conditions. Though medical science has not yet discovered a cure for these diseases or disorders, we pray that it may do so b'me'era b'yameinu, speedily in our days. We pray that the sufferers find comfort and ease from pain. We pray that their caregivers find strength and compassion and gentleness in looking after them, and we ask God's blessings of peace for them all. So this is for people with chronic, debilitating illnesses or conditions. Please take the next few moments to think about the folks you are offering prayers for, and as you think about them, articulate the names silently, please. And we're also going to offer prayers for those amongst our family and friends who are in the throes of illnesses for which modern medical science has developed effective treatments and even cures. For them, we pray for patience and strength to undergo necessary treatments, to endure frustration and impatience, and to remain hopeful even in moments of discouragement. We pray for wisdom and skill for their caregivers. We pray that these dear ones will experience the joy of full recovery, bimhera b'yameinu, speedily and in our days. And we invite God's blessing of peace upon them all. And as you think about these people, please articulate the names silently. While we're offering prayers for the sick, let's think about people all over everywhere who may be dealing with the coronavirus. There are several in our own community now. So let's offer prayers for those people and also for their caregivers. Let's offer prayers for people anywhere who have been dealing with the aftermath of violence. Let's offer a prayer for the people of the Ukraine. Let's offer a prayer for the healing of our country. And let's offer a prayer for our planet. And we go back to the music.
With faith and love, together we bring hope and healing to those in need. Without judgment, without explanation, we are all God's creation.
And Arifanala Refuah Shlema And Arifanala. Please hear this song. Please hear this song. And Arifanala Refuah Shlema And Arifanala. Please hear this song.
That's a pretty melody too, isn't it? Well, I wanted to take a few minutes to speak to you about some things. And I am well aware, as I do that this has not been a quiet week for news. But there has been a lot of news this week, and so one little piece may have gotten lost in the shuffle. And that was what we were probably thinking about last week, through the weekend, etc. And that was what was going on between Israel and folks in the Gaza Strip. It does seem that Israel acted preemptively to get some people out of its way. And for a couple of days, it was a very intense situation. But it seems to have quietened down. And as it was unfolding, I was thinking about the fact that for 2,000 years, approximately, our people have been praying for the establishment of our own country. And anybody who thought that that was going to be the end of our tzuras was much mistaken. And I know that when I think about my grandparents who never did get to Israel, they lived to see the state established, but they didn't get to see it themselves. But they spent most of their lives praying for the creation of a Jewish homeland. And every once in a while, as you and I live with the circumstances we are in, we are praying for the survival of the Jewish homeland, the continued existence of it. And so I was very much struck by that at the earlier part of the week. And isn't it interesting how other things have come to dominate the news and nobody even talks about what was going on last weekend? But it was fast and furious, and there were, I think, close to 50 people who were killed in all of that in the Gaza Strip. So I wanted to mention that, and I was particularly struck by that because last Sunday was Tisha B'Av. Now, Tisha B'Av is a date, the 9th day of the month of Av. And our tradition says that on that date, in the year 586 BCE, the Babylonians destroyed Solomon's temple in Jerusalem on that date. And our tradition also tells us that on that same date, in the year 70 CE, the Romans destroyed the temple in Jerusalem. That was the rebuilt temple, the temple that the exiles from Babylon rebuilt, and then along came Herod the Great, and he, we'll say, upgraded that building incredibly so that it was considered one of the wonders of the world, the temple in Jerusalem. But twice on the date that was last Sunday, Tisha B'Av, that building was destroyed. And I know from my own personal experience that being in Jerusalem on Tisha B'Av is a very jarring thing, because the notion that we should be mourning for the destruction of the temple doesn't necessarily fit what all of us believe. And many of us would be very uncomfortable with the rebuilding of a temple which would inevitably lead directly to the restoration of animal sacrifice as part of Jewish worship. I think probably everybody in this room would be very unhappy with that. And so it's hard to mourn the destruction of the temple when we see how things changed as a result of that, and how, as the result of what the Romans did in the year 70, we are where we are now in Jewish life. So I was thinking about that on Tisha B'Av, and I was thinking about a variety of things that have made life very difficult for us over the past few years. I was thinking about the fact that several people, a couple of people on the Mishaberach list, actually, congregants, actually now have COVID. And some people are getting COVID again, which is not a good thing. And so there's a lot of reasons to be uncomfortable about this. The question I wanted to go back to before we skip past last weekend is to ask this question. What was going on? Why did the Israelis start bombing the Gaza Strip? And why were the Palestinians shooting into Jewish cities? What was that all about? And I've been looking for an answer to that question. There was some threat. There seriously was a threat, and the Israelis responded. But a little bit of me remains very cynical. And you know, I'm sure you know, that there's another election coming in Israel. They love elections so much, they have them every few months. So the election is coming up in September, and the prime candidates, the two people who are vying for leadership of the country as a result of that election, are Bibi Netanyahu, who's not an unknown quantity to us all, and a fellow by the name of Yair Lapid. Now, Yair Lapid was, before he entered politics, maybe 6 years ago, he was a broadcaster. He's a good-looking guy with a shock of white hair. He's got a certain amount of presence and charisma, and he has emerged as the leader of the current government. Now, you remember the last election? Do you remember that? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Well, it, like its predecessors, was essentially a dead heat. And Netanyahu was invited to form a government, but he could not put together a coalition. And coalition politics is a very difficult thing to manage. He couldn't put together a coalition. So the president of Israel turned to the next largest block of votes in the election, and that was shared by two people. And the two parties arrived at an agreement, and they created a coalition government, and Yair Lapid was to be the second prime minister, not the first person who became the prime minister, but the second, because they were going to rotate. And Lapid's number never came up, because the government fell before his turn arrived. But the terms of the coalition said very clearly that if that were to happen, then the other guy gets to be prime minister through the caretaker period. And that's why Yair Lapid is now the leader of the opposition to Netanyahu. I know that this is all tedious beyond words, but my point in mentioning it to you is that politically, Lapid is a new guy on the block. And one of the things Netanyahu has said repeatedly is that he's the only one who can assure Israelis of their security. He says this regularly. And Lapid was an untested entity. And the cynical part of me wants to know whether there was some political profit to be achieved by Lapid being the prime minister and sending Israeli rockets into the Gaza Strip just a few weeks before the election, so that he too can say that he has shown himself to be decisive and he's shown leadership qualities in a time of military stress. A little bit of me wants to know that. I don't know the answer to that, but I have heard other people speculating on it, and I think it's not outside the realm of the possible. So Lapid is now able to position himself a little better, perhaps, and a little differently than if he had never been tested. So that's one of the things that has happened recently. Did you pay attention a few weeks ago when there was a group of Ethiopian Jews brought to Israel? Did you see that? Another group, a small group of Ethiopians, another evacuation of a small group of Ethiopians happened just a few weeks ago. And these people came to Israel to find family already waiting for them here. Their family has been here for decades, but Israel could not get people out for quite a while. And so there has been another little trickle of Ethiopian Jews into Israel, which is quite an astounding thing. What we have to remember is that these people are living in Ethiopia as though it was 2,500 years ago. They are not living in a modern world. And so when they come to Israel, they are just blown away. The first thing that blows them away is the big bird that comes out of the sky to carry them to Israel. And they make the trip. It's not that big a trip. And they make that trip, and not only do they cover distance, but they cover time. And they arrive in the 21st century to a whole new world. And so I was thinking about that the other day and thinking how difficult an adjustment this has to be, and how do you explain some of the things that you and I take for granted? How do you explain some of these things? it's not, you want it to be a little warmer? Okay, so there's a box over there on the wall. Go push the buttons on that. It'll be warmer. Well, where's the fire? There are stories about Ethiopians who were brought to Israel in the mid-1980s, and they were housed in high-rise apartment buildings, because basically that's all there is in Israel. And they had no acquaintance with modern kitchens and things of that sort. And when they had to cook their food, they had no idea what they were going to do, so they chopped up the furniture and made a fire. Well, what else would they do? So it's really interesting to think that this is still happening. That was, almost 40 years ago that took place. And these people are still coming from a time back there into the present moment. And I was thinking about that and how stressful that must be. And how would we adapt to that? How would we personally be able to manage that? So I wanted to mention that. And I wanted to say that our tradition tells us not to lose heart. Our tradition tells us to remain hopeful and optimistic, and to find some consolation and comfort where we can. Now, you may not know this about me, but I am absolutely fascinated by the destruction of the temple in the year 70. And it's not the destruction that I'm fascinated by. I'm fascinated by the next morning. Okay, our people had been offering sacrifices in the temple in Jerusalem at that point for at least somewhere around 500 years. And there was a hiatus of about 60, 70 years. And before that, they had been offering sacrifices in that place. That ended in 586, but around 930 BCE is when the temple was built. So our people have been doing that for a long time. And then the temple was gone. And what did they do? Not eventually, but in that moment, what did they do? Well, the leadership of the Jewish community said that, and we're reading currently in Torah, the book of Deuteronomy, where we read over and over and over and over and over and over again, where it says that God will choose a place for the divine name to dwell. And that's where you bring the sacrifices. And if that place is burnt down, what do you do? And the sages of the moment said, well, we're not going to build another one. And we're not going to designate another place, because the Romans will just destroy it. And without a great deal of moaning and groaning, apparently, we turned around the next day and didn't do sacrifices anymore. And I'm just fascinated by that, by what went on in people's minds. How did they come to terms with the fact that God's place of residence had been destroyed? How could God have allowed that to happen? And what did they do to get through that crisis? That actually fascinates me, and we don't have anything that tells us an answer to that. And I have done some actual research to try to find out what went on, and there's nothing we can really learn from recorded material. But our tradition says we have to find comfort. And there is a tradition which says that the Shabbat following Tisha B'Av is called Shabbat Nachamu. Nachamu means comfort. And the text that is taken for this is from chapter 40 of the book of Isaiah. Comfort ye, my people, says Adonai. Says Adonai, your God. So that's the text, and this is Shabbat Nachamu. And I have been waiting for Shabbat Nachamu for a while now, because I found a piece of music that carries this message to us. So as I have been thinking about the stuff going on in Israel and other things going on in the world, and I'm vividly aware that we need to find comfort wherever we can, I want to suggest to you that this music might help. Nachamu.
Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem. Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle with this world. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle with this world. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elohechem.
Did you like that? Isn't it beautiful? Mhm. Well, I have to tell you that the folks in the tech room were a little nervous about that, because every time I prepare one of these scripts for the services, I include 9 musical pieces, and this time there were 10. And they didn't know whether I had lost my mind, which, could easily be the best answer. So we took a chance. Well, we're going to continue now with the Aleinu, which will be on the screen. Please rise. Page 586 if you're looking for it in the prayer book. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו Begov meromim, Hu Eloheinu ein od, Emet malkeinu efesulato, Kakatuv b'torato, V'yadakta hayom v'hashevota el levavecha, Ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, Bashamayim imal, V'al ha'aretz mitachat ein od. And we read together, may we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad ushemo echad. And we continue the reading that is on page 597 and on the screen. Please read with me. Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This Shabbat, the congregation is remembering Deanna Birkin, wife of Edward Birkin, Lester Friedman, brother of Ellen Bloom, Keith Eugene Miller Jr., brother of Vicky Korej, Ada Meisler, sister of Anna Foster, Philip Turchik, father-in-law of Sid Goldstein, Randy Guzinski, son of Bob and Maggie Guzinski, Leon J., father of Michael J., Kaufman Katz, father of Bernard Katz, Gertrude Teitelbaum, mother of Hildy Klein, Rose Hotchman, grandmother of Erica Lino, and father of Eugene Uduin. Mother of, maybe not. We'll leave it at that, okay? Rose Hotchman was the grandmother of Erica Lino. Denise Newton, niece of Barbara Milstein. Emmanuel Kadkin, father of Paula Neuberger. Rose Harriton, mother of Beverly Noren. Pearl Kofsky, grandmother of Ida Lee Rubin. Sidney Nathan Weiser, brother of Betty Scher. Ray Scher, mother of Jerry Scher. Harry Brown, grandfather of Barbara Silver. Julius Silverman, father of Marvin Silverman. Gladys Holtzman, mother-in-law of Stephen Tabin. Mildred Singman, mother-in-law of Harvey Weiss. Molly Capral, Jack Green, and Teddy Tevelson. And we are counting Shloshim. We conclude for Phyllis Woodleaf, the sister of Robert Berg. We conclude that count today, and we continue counting for Anne Graff. Kaddish is going to be on the screen. It's on page 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, b'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayei v'yomei v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yithadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shmei dekudsha, brichu. La'ela min kol berchata, v'shirata, tushbechata, v'nechamata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Ose shalom bimromav, huyase shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Please be seated. Announcements, everybody's favorite moment. No? Well, yeah. Good. You have to do it over there.
Well, one of the things I was going to ask you
Yes.
is the classes,
Everything canceled. Yep, canceled for this week. I'm
Yes.
leaving town.
I didn't realize that. Okay, so now you know. All the classes are being canceled.
That's it.
Out they go.
Yep.
Out they go. Another announcement. I think, Joanne, you had wanted to announce a reminder, I believe, of monies, or no, it wasn't the money. I think it was.
High Holy Day greetings in the next Shalom News.
The High Holy.
The deadline to receive the greeting and the donation is the 15th of this month.
By the 15th of this month. Okay. You all heard that.
Yes, but you know, they didn't hear that at home, so because the microphone doesn't pick it up, so you have to repeat that.
Joanne Sudman would like everybody to get their High Holy Day donations.
Greetings.
Well, and donations, I would think, yes?
Well,
Does it all
yes,
have to be in
Yes.
by the 15th of August?
correct.
Okay,
Now, you've done that,
Um,
you're done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay. So next Friday, who is taking over?
Who is taking over? Delise Axon has graciously volunteered.
Okay, so Delise Axon will be here next Friday evening. Now, tomorrow, you're also having a Torah service,
Yes, we are.
okay? And
And we need folks for the minyan, so if you're at all able to come, please do.
on Sunday, we are having a luncheon for all new members, and which starts at 1 o'clock. And we are expecting a nice group of people, approximately 36, with new members and our board. And, but
No, this is not open to the congregation.
it's not open.
No, it's not open. It was never open to the congregation.
It's just specifically for new members.
By invitation only.
Well, yes, I
Yes.
guess so.
Yes, we are not telling people that they should show up on Sunday.
Right,
Yes, no, don't
No.
come.
right.
Don't come. When was the last time you heard somebody say that from this bima?
That's
Don't
true.
come.
Don't come, okay. Does anybody have any symptoms that they would like to share with
Oh,
us?
look, over there.
Oh, Miss Carol?
Go ahead.
I'm excited. My daughter and her whole family and their kids are all military. And she finally moved here, and she finally sold one house, and she's moving to another one, which is to be 15 minutes away from us.
So for people who in
And I couldn't
television
hear.
land didn't get that,
Right,
Carol Gokin is telling us that her family, some large chunk of her family has descended on her, and they're going to be not more than 15 minutes away from her.
oh my goodness.
How many, Carol? Carol?
My daughter has 11 children.
Her daughter has 11 children.
11 children.
We'll just leave it at that then.
Okay. Okay, Carol.
I don't know whether I'm envious or not.
Oh,
I have to think it over.
okay. All right, well, actually, is there anything that I missed? Does anybody have any announcement or any?
No.
Carol?
Okay.
Well,
My oldest granddaughter gave birth to her fourth child a few weeks ago.
oh, Mazel Tov.
Very nice, Carol. Okay.
Carol's oldest granddaughter has given birth to her fourth child relatively recently.
Oh, wow.
How many grandchildren do you have, Carol?
I have 14 grandchildren and 5 great.
She has to count. She doesn't have enough.
14 grandchildren and 5, did you say? 5 great-grandchildren. No wonder she goes to the gym.
Every morning.
Yeah,
Every morning. All right, well.
All right, well then, thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody.
Okay, well, we are going to bring this service to an end with this singing of Kiva Moed. Most of us learned this as Lailai, and we have more recently discovered that it does have words. But for our purposes, we will continue with Lailai, except for the phrase Kiva Moed, because the time is coming. And personally, I will say that the time that is coming is my vacation. Yay! Oh, they're very eager to be rid of me. This is not a good sign. So what I want to say to you is, have a lot of fun while I'm away. Because Kiva Moed, because the time is coming. And this particular version of it was recorded in Asheville, North Carolina, which is where we're going for vacation. I'm hoping they're there. So let's do it. And you got to sing. This is good.
forgot to announce that the Oneg to go tonight is being sponsored by Donna Wiener.
Ooh, that was interesting. I guess that's a reminder to turn on your phones. I do want to tell you, the folks at home, that we hope you have an Oneg Shabbat of your very own to turn to now. And for those of you in the sanctuary, yes, turn on your phones again. And on your way out, please grab some of the goodies for the Oneg to go. Thank you to the Wieners for providing that. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all for being here.